Welcome back to Excel Tricks. In this video, I'm going to show you how to concatenate or join cells, but specifying the format of those cells. We're going to use column A, column B, column C, and column D in the text that we're going to display. So what we want to display is Olivia was born on 9/17/2008 and is 12 years old. Olivia has a savings rate of 0%. So first we're going to go over and use the concat function. So bear with me as I type this function out and explain as I go. So the first thing we're telling is we're entering our function concat, and we're going to say, well, what do we want to have first? We want cell A2, and we have to specify our next text in the sequence. And this time we're going to use our quotations to let Excel know that we're entering free-form text. We have to remember to add our spaces, was born on, space, comma, and now we're going to get our next text, which is B2, or this is our date of birth, comma for text 4. And remember, we have to start our text with quotations, and we're going to add and is, and then a space, add our comma to select our next cell, and enter our comma, and now we're at years old, space, years old, period, and I would add we're going to add our space because we want to include that space after a period, because we're doing, or after a sentence ends. So we'll go back to select A2, our comma, space, has a savings rate of, space, in quotation, add that comma, and now we're going to select our last D2, our last cell, D2, but we still need to enter a period for the end of the sentence, so we're going to add one more comma, and then our quotations, and add a period here, end quotations, in paren. Boom, shakalaka. Oh, so it's not perfect. And this is what I was talking about, how we need to specify using the text function the format that we want this date to be in. So by default, when you're doing, when you're concatenating fields or joining fields and you add in a date, Excel is going to turn it into these numbers. So Excel stores dates as sequential serial numbers. And so when you see these numbers, that's how Excel does their calculations for dates. So we're just going to specify to Excel that we want to have this format in the DD, YYYY format. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to double click into my formula, and I'm going to copy the formula. Hit enter. Now I'm going to hide column E, and I'm going to double click in F2 and paste that formula. I'll double click so we can see as we work through. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this to format. So to format, like I mentioned before, we're going to use a text function. So Olivia was born on 3/9/7/08. That means nothing to us. So we're going to pop right in here to the formula, right in front of cell B2, which holds the date of birth. And we're going to enter text and paren, comma, because we're telling Excel right now that you need to treat B2 as text and in the format that we are providing. So to specify this date format, you're going to enter your quotation, for short month, including, so 2-digit month, the / because we want that to be our separator, day, / and 4-digit year. End with quotation, add in paren. You can see that text is applying to that, and we hit enter, and we can see that it has changed our date, and it now makes more sense. But now we want to look at Olivia has a savings rate of 0. So we want to include that percentage. So you can see it does not bring the percentage over. So the way to do that is to also use the text function. So we're going to pop right in front of D2, text, our parens, and then we're going to go after the D2, enter a comma, and specify our format. And I almost forgot my quotation. Remember, format needs to be in quotations. So my format is percentage. So I'm going to put 0%, end quotation, in paren for the text. And now hit enter. And boom, we have our meaningful joining of cells, including that text. So if we want to go ahead and drag this formula down to the rest of our cells that contain data, just double click this autofill handler and it will pop all of that information down. So now I'm going to show you how to combine cells using the and or ampersand symbol. So again, we're going to give the same result that we use with the concat function, just doing it a little bit differently. This is my preferred method. I don't know why, it just seems like I have more control over what I'm doing when I do it this way. So let's go ahead and start this. Okay, start with equal. I'm going to select my first name cell, A2, and then I'm going to do my ampersand, my and I'm going to specify that I'm entering text. And I'm going to say was born on space and B2 and quotation and is space, and then we're going to enter that and again, select 15, and again for our next section, years old, period, space, quotation, use our and symbol, and we're going to select the name again, and space has a savings rate of space, quotation, and symbol, D2. And then one more for good measure, period, quotation, int. Wasn't that fun? I mean, come on, that was thrilling. Okay, so we have our Olivia was born on, and we have these numbers again. So we're going to do the same thing we did, and I'm just going to pop in and do it a little bit. Hopefully we can get this done. We're pros now, right? And so I'm going to copy this. I'm going to pop it over. Oops. All right, so I'm going to double click in. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to hit enter, pop this over to column F or cell F2, paste that in there. I'm going to hide column E and then expand this. And we're going to fix this really quickly. Okay, so we know B2 has a date, and so remember, we're going to use our text function. It's the same format as we did last time. So text B2, comma, enter the format we want. And we'll do month, month, day, day, year, year, year. Do our parens. And we have our and. I'll enter in so we can see that it changed that. So now we need to just change our savings rate. So we're going to go over here right before D2 and add that text in with our opening parens, our comma where we're going to specify our format, 0%. Remember those in quotations. In this case, we now need to enter our in paren, and hit enter. And there you go. And there you have it, folks. Combining cells using both concat and using the ampersand or and symbol and specifying the format of the dates and a percentage. As always, if you like our content and tutorials, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. And until next time, Excel Chicks.